Every day offers an opportunity for personal growth, yet many of us find ourselves stuck in unproductive routines. We all have aspirations and areas we wish to improve, but the path to consistent progress often feels unclear. Daily distractions can easily derail our best intentions, making it crucial to focus on specific, transformative practices. These aren't just random tasks. They're habits that, with regular application, can reshape your mindset, boost productivity, and build the discipline needed for long-term success. This guide outlines 10 essential daily practices designed to help you become your best self. These aren't quick fixes but consistent efforts that, over time, lead to significant change. Each step is simple yet powerful, helping you overcome self-doubt, distractions, and detrimental habits. By the end, you'll understand how to make steady progress toward your goals, cultivate an ever-improving mindset, and develop lasting habits. It's about taking small, consistent steps that accumulate into meaningful transformation. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Identifying limiting beliefs. Some days everything aligns, and your goals seem within reach. Other days, an unseen force appears to hold you back. You might have grand ambitions, but an invisible wall constantly pulls you down, preventing progress. More often than not, this wall is constructed from your own beliefs about yourself and your abilities. The concept of limiting beliefs isn't new, but we often underestimate their profound impact. These subtle beliefs silently drive our decisions, actions, and even our inactions. We all possess them to some degree, influencing our behavior in ways we rarely realize. However, these beliefs aren't facts. They're merely thoughts we've accepted as truth, many of which we've never questioned. The danger of limiting beliefs is their power to convince us we're incapable, not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. They might have formed in childhood from a teacher or parent's unwitting comment, or perhaps from a past failure that led you to conclude you weren't cut out for success. Over time, that initial seed grew, now seeming an undeniable part of who you are. But the truth is, limiting beliefs are just that, beliefs. They aren't unchangeable facts. Often, they stem from distorted thinking, past experiences, or fears that no longer serve us. To make real progress, we must identify and challenge these beliefs one by one. This process demands self-awareness and courage, but as you begin to question them, you'll witness a significant shift, realizing that those towering walls were merely illusions. Consider the common belief, I'm not good enough. Many of us carry this in various forms. But step back and question it. What defines good enough? Is it a fixed point after which you suddenly become worthy of success or happiness? The reality is we are constantly evolving, learning, and growing. The idea of good enough is fluid, not static. Think about your first attempt at something new, a job interview, a performance, or even a simple conversation. You likely didn't feel good enough beforehand. Yet, after the experience, you gained knowledge, confidence, and perspective, gradually improving. You might not have been good enough initially, but through effort, persistence, and learning, you grew into someone capable. The belief that you're not good enough is often a product of insufficient practice or exposure to what you're trying to achieve. It holds power only if you allow it. The same applies to the belief that you don't deserve success or happiness, another belief that can severely limit you. It's common to feel you haven't earned your success or aren't worthy of your dreams. But everyone deserves happiness, success, and fulfillment. You are not defined by past mistakes, failures, or things that didn't work out. You are defined by the actions you take moving forward. Challenging these limiting beliefs might initially feel uncomfortable. It's natural, as you've likely held them for years, even decades, shaping your worldview. But once you recognize they aren't set in stone, new possibilities emerge. You'll begin to understand that you can write your own story, regardless of your past. So, how do you begin breaking free? The first step is awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Pay attention to your thoughts when facing challenges. What do you tell yourself when things get tough, or you don't get the desired results? Are you quick to blame yourself, thinking, I'm just not good enough, or, this isn't meant for me? These thoughts are clues to your limiting beliefs. Also, observe patterns. If you've repeatedly tried and failed at something, it's easy to believe you'll never succeed. But these patterns don't dictate your destiny. They merely reflect your current mindset. Change your mindset, and the pattern will change. The next step is to challenge those beliefs. Once identified, question their validity. Ask yourself, is this belief true? Where's the evidence? Examine your past experiences to see if they support or contradict the belief. If you believe you're bad with money, recall times you managed money well, perhaps saving for a purchase or making smart financial decisions. Those moments prove you're not inherently bad with money, but simply that you can improve with practice and focus. It's also helpful to reframe the belief. Instead of, I'm terrible with money, reframe it to, I'm still learning how to manage my finances, but I'm getting better every day. This simple shift changes your perception from being incapable to being on a journey of growth. Perhaps the most powerful way to break free is through action. You must take small steps, even if uncomfortable initially. If you believe you're not good enough for a new career, start by researching the field. Read books, talk to people in that profession, and take courses. The more you expose yourself to new opportunities, the more you'll realize your capacity for learning and growth. The belief that you're not good enough will gradually fade as you prove to yourself that you can act, learn, and succeed. This is where the real transformation happens. The more you act despite fears and doubts, the more you realize you are not defined by your beliefs, but by the actions you take and your willingness to challenge what has held you back. Getting better every single day isn't just about improving skills or achieving goals, it's about changing your thinking and questioning limiting beliefs. The moment you realize you're not bound by your past or self-imposed limits, you unlock new potential, and everything begins to change. The journey to overcoming limiting beliefs isn't always easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Each time you break free from a belief that has held you back, you move closer to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. You begin to live with purpose, confidence, and the conviction that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. As you move forward, remember that you are not your beliefs. You are the person who chooses to act, to learn, and to grow. And with each day, you get better, not because you're good enough, but because you're committed to improving one step at a time. Chapter 2: The Neuroscience of Creativity. The world is brimming with possibilities, yet many of us struggle to unleash our creative potential. It often feels as if creativity is reserved for a select few, a mysterious gift. But the truth is, creativity is a skill that can be nurtured, developed, and expanded. Understanding its scientific basis reveals that it's not about waiting for inspiration but about cultivating the right conditions for creativity to flourish. The brain is an extraordinary organ, capable of forming new connections, synthesizing information, and generating innovative ideas. Creativity isn't a mystical, random process. It's the result of complex neural interactions, many of which we can influence. Every time you forge a new connection, solve a problem uniquely, or conceive a fresh idea, your brain actively rewires itself. This is called neuroplasticity, meaning your brain can adapt, grow, and change based on your experiences. Understanding how your brain functions in a creative state is the first step to unlocking your creative potential. The brain doesn't work linearly. It constantly processes information, filters it, and makes connections. Creativity arises when you combine seemingly unrelated ideas or experiences in novel ways. It's not about having all the answers at once, but rather the ability to make new connections between what you already know. The light bulb moment, where inspiration strikes out of nowhere, is largely a myth. Creativity thrives in an environment that encourages it, where ideas can flow freely without judgment or restriction. When you force creativity, your brain becomes burdened by stress and pressure, hindering clear thinking. Conversely, when you allow yourself to explore ideas without immediately worrying about the outcome, your brain opens to new possibilities. This process begins with the mind's ability to access different states of thinking. One crucial state is the default mode network, DMN. This part of the brain becomes active when we're not focused on a specific task, allowing our minds to wander. Daydreaming, letting your mind drift during a walk, or simply relaxing in a quiet space. These are all opportunities for your brain to make connections you might not consciously recognize. It's during these moments that your brain actively processes information and seeks new ways to combine existing knowledge. In fact, some of the most significant creative breakthroughs have occurred when people weren't actively trying to be creative. Another vital aspect of creativity is the willingness to take risks and embrace failure. Too often, fear of failure, of looking foolish or making mistakes, prevents us from trying new things. But failure is an essential part of the creative process. Through our mistakes, we learn and grow. Each failure offers valuable insights, a new perspective, a different approach, or simply the knowledge that we're closer to a solution. Creativity doesn't come from getting everything right on the first try. It's about experimenting, learning, and iterating. One of the most powerful tools for unlocking creativity is shifting your mindset. If you view creativity as rare and unattainable, you'll struggle to access it. But if you see it as a skill anyone can develop, you'll approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. Instead of asking, "What's the right answer?" ask, "What can I discover?" This simple shift opens new possibilities and moves you away from the idea that creativity is only for the lucky few. A major misconception about creativity is that it requires inspiration to begin. People often wait for the perfect idea before starting. But creativity is a process, not a moment of inspiration. The key is to build momentum. Start with a small idea, no matter how insignificant. Often, the act of starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, your brain will naturally build on what you've done, and the creative process will take shape. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to access your creative potential. This is where consistency is crucial. Like any skill, creativity improves with practice. Dedicate time each day to creative activities, even if you don't feel like it. Some of the most creative breakthroughs happen unexpectedly, in the shower, during a long walk, or while sitting quietly. The point is to create space for creativity to emerge. Nurturing creativity also requires feeding your brain new experiences and information. The more diverse your experiences, the more connections your brain can make. Read widely, explore new hobbies, travel, and converse with people from different perspectives. Do anything that expands your mind. Creativity thrives on diversity. When exposed to varied information, your brain can combine those experiences in unexpected ways. You might also find that working within constraints enhances your creativity. Too many choices can stifle creative thinking. Conversely, a specific challenge or set of limitations can force your brain to think more innovatively. This is why creative exercises, like brainstorming with rules or creating something from limited materials, can trigger new ideas. Boundaries don't limit creativity, they fuel it. Collaboration is another powerful tool for sparking creativity. Sharing ideas with others opens you to new perspectives and approaches. Collaboration allows you to bounce ideas off each other, get feedback, and see things from angles you might not have considered alone. Creative collaboration often leads to breakthroughs impossible in isolation. Don't be afraid to seek partnerships or ask for feedback, even if it feels uncomfortable initially. The results can be incredibly rewarding. Above all, the most important thing you can do to nurture your creativity is to trust the process. Stop worrying about perfection. Stop waiting for the perfect idea. Just begin. Creativity isn't about making something flawless. It's about starting where you are, making mistakes, learning from them, and gradually refining your ideas. With each step forward, your creativity will grow. And as it does, you'll find yourself more open to new ideas, more willing to take risks, and more confident in your ability to create something unique. The beauty of creativity is that it's not confined to any single area of life. You can be creative in your job, relationships, and personal development. Creativity isn't about being an artist. It's about thinking outside the box, solving problems in new ways, and approaching challenges with a fresh perspective. The more you understand the science behind creativity, the more you can apply it to all areas of your life. The possibilities are endless, as long as you embrace the process and give yourself the freedom to explore. So, start today. Give yourself permission to think differently, challenge your assumptions, and experiment without the pressure of perfection. When you do, you'll unlock a wellspring of creativity that has always been there, waiting for you to discover it. Creativity isn't something reserved for a few special people. It's a skill anyone can develop, and it's yours for the taking. All it takes is the willingness to begin and the courage to see where the journey will take you. Chapter 3. Disrupting the status quo. Change is uncomfortable, a simple truth we can all agree on. Even when we know it's necessary and see its potential, change can feel like a heavy burden. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing you could soar if you leap, but simultaneously gripped by the fear of the unknown. Most people settle for comfort because it's familiar and, in a way, safe. We crave routine, the predictability of the day, the certainty that tomorrow will largely resemble today. But here's the catch. The world around us is constantly changing, and if we're unwilling to adapt, we risk being left behind. The status quo might feel comfortable, but it's not where growth happens. The magic, the breakthroughs, the progress. All these occur when we step outside of what we've always known and challenge the way things have always been. Disrupting the status quo isn't about changing for change's sake. It's about seeking better ways, better solutions, and a more meaningful life. It's about questioning what holds us back and daring to venture into uncharted territory. However, change, by its nature, demands courage. It requires a willingness to be uncomfortable, to challenge yourself, and to embrace the uncertainty of not knowing exactly where you'll land. It's far easier to maintain the status quo, but by doing so, you miss out on the potential to grow, to achieve, to be better than you were yesterday. The first step in disrupting the status quo is understanding that your world is shaped by individuals who dared to be different, who challenged accepted norms. Think of history's great innovators: Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs. None of them chose the path of least resistance. They faced setbacks, doubters, and failures, yet they were driven by a belief that something could be different. They saw potential where others didn't and acted to bring their visions to life. This mindset is the key to disrupting the status quo in your own life. The willingness to challenge yourself, your assumptions, and your circumstances. It's not about blindly rejecting everything you know, but about questioning it. Ask yourself, is there a better way to do this? Is there something I could try that would push me further? What's the next step that will take me to where I want to be? Disrupting the status quo isn't limited to grand, world-changing inventions. It happens on a personal level too. You disrupt your own status quo when you decide to improve yourself, when you choose to be better than you were yesterday. Consider the habits that shape your life. How often do you fall into routines that feel safe but don't genuinely promote growth? The habit of procrastination, the habit of avoiding challenges, the habit of staying comfortable in a job or relationship that no longer serves you. These are all ways the status quo keeps you stagnant. The key to disrupting your own status quo is to stop accepting things as they are. Look at your life with fresh eyes, as if you were an outsider observing it. Ask yourself, what could I do today that would challenge my current way of doing things? Chapter 3. Disrupting the status quo. Change is inherently uncomfortable. We all agree on this simple truth. Even when we recognize its necessity and potential, change can feel like a heavy burden. It's akin to standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing you could soar if you take the leap, but simultaneously grappling with the fear of the unknown. Most people gravitate towards comfort because it's familiar and, in a way, safe. We appreciate routine, the predictability of each day, the certainty that tomorrow will largely mirror today. But here's the catch. The world around us is in constant flux. If we resist adaptation, we risk being left behind. The status quo, while comforting, isn't where growth happens. The breakthroughs, the progress, the moments of magic, all these materialize when we venture beyond the familiar and challenge established norms. Disrupting the status quo isn't about arbitrary change. It's about seeking superior methods, better solutions, and a more meaningful existence. It involves questioning what impedes us and bravely stepping into uncharted territory. However, change, by its very nature, demands courage. It requires a willingness to embrace discomfort, challenge yourself, and accept the uncertainty of an unknown outcome. Maintaining the status quo is far simpler, yet it means forfeiting the chance to grow, to achieve, to surpass who you were yesterday. The initial step in disrupting the status quo is realizing that your environment has been shaped by individuals who dared to be different, those who defied accepted norms. Consider historical innovators like Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, and Steve Jobs. None of these individuals chose the path of least resistance. They encountered obstacles, skeptics, and failures, yet they were driven by a conviction that things could be different. They perceived potential where others did not and acted to realize their visions. This mindset, the willingness to challenge yourself, your assumptions, and your circumstances, is paramount to disrupting your own status quo. It's not about outright rejection of everything you know, but rather about scrutinizing it. Ask yourself, is there a better way to do this? What could I try that would propel me forward? What's the next step that will guide me to my desired destination? Disrupting the status quo isn't confined to grand, world-altering inventions. It also occurs on a personal level. You disrupt your own status quo when you commit to self-improvement, choosing to be better than you were yesterday. Reflect on the habits that define your life. How often do you fall into routines that feel secure but don't genuinely foster growth? Procrastination, avoidance of challenges, remaining in an unfulfilling job or relationship. These are all ways the status quo keeps you stagnant. The key to disrupting your personal status quo is to stop accepting things as they are. View your life through a fresh lens, as if you were an objective observer. Ask yourself, what single action could I take today that would push me toward a better version of myself? This could be as simple as waking an hour earlier for a personal project, declining a commitment that doesn't align with your goals, or dedicating time to learn a new skill. These minor adjustments are the initial steps in breaking free from unproductive routines. But disrupting the status quo isn't just about isolated changes. It demands a mindset shift, a willingness to envision something superior and the courage to pursue it. It's easy to be ensnared by the belief that you can't improve, that you're incapable, or that things are simply meant to be. But what if this very belief is your biggest impediment? What if the true barrier is your perception of what's possible? The truth is, most of us self-impose more limitations than we realize. We erect invisible boundaries around our potential, convinced that certain dreams are too ambitious or out of reach. Yet, many of these limitations are self-created, stemming from fears, doubts, and misconceptions about our capabilities. Disrupting the status quo means dismantling these self-imposed barriers and embracing new possibilities. One of the most potent ways to achieve this is through action. When you act, no matter how small the step, you disrupt the comfort of inaction. Action has a way of stirring things up and generating momentum. Recall times when you felt stuck or uncertain. Chances are, the moment you took action, whether starting a new project, making a difficult decision, or taking a risk, things began to shift. Momentum follows action, and action often brings clarity. As you move in a new direction, the path becomes clearer. Taking action compels you to own your choices. You are responsible for creating the life you desire, and this necessitates bold decisions. Disrupting the status quo requires you to stop waiting for permission and to start making things happen for yourself. You may not know the exact outcome, and that's perfectly fine. But by taking that first step, you declare, I am not content with the current state. I am ready for more. Another crucial aspect of disrupting the status quo is resilience. Change doesn't happen overnight, and the path to transformation is often fraught with setbacks and failures. It's easy to capitulate when things don't go as planned, but true change doesn't materialize because everything is perfect. It happens because you persist, even when it's difficult. Resilience means remaining committed to your goals, even in the face of adversity. It means embracing failure as an integral part of the process and refusing to let it define you. Disrupting the status quo also involves surrounding yourself with inspiring individuals, people who encourage you to be better, who are willing to challenge you and nudge you out of your comfort zone. Examine your social circle. Do they elevate you, or do they keep you trapped in old patterns? The people around you significantly influence your mindset and your ability to break free from the status quo. Seek out those who inspire growth, who possess a vision for the future, and who push you to become your best self. When you decide to disrupt the status quo, you're not just changing your own life. You're creating a ripple effect that extends to everyone around you. Your courage, determination, and willingness to act inspire others to do the same. Think about the individuals who have inspired you. They weren't those who played it safe or followed the crowd. They were the ones who dared to be different, took risks, and changed the game. As you begin to challenge norms, personal or societal, you start to see new opportunities. Disrupting the status quo unveils possibilities you never previously recognized. It compels you to think bigger, bolder, and to believe that you are capable of more than you've been led to believe. It's not just about shaking things up for the sake of change. It's about making space for growth, for new experiences, and for a better future. The most potent tool for disrupting the status quo is the mindset you adopt. A mindset that perceives change as an opportunity, not a threat. A mindset that welcomes challenges as chances to grow. A mindset that believes you are capable of achieving greatness, regardless of obstacles. When you embrace the idea of disrupting the status quo, you're not merely improving your own life. You're demonstrating to the world what's possible when we cease accepting things as they are. You're taking the first step in creating the life you truly desire. A life dictated not by fear, comfort, or complacency, but by purpose, passion, and progress. Chapter 4: Reprogramming Your Subconscious Mind. We all hear voices in our heads, those whispers that tell us what we can't do, what we're not good enough for, or what we should fear. Sometimes subtle, sometimes loud, they constantly shape our thoughts and actions. These voices aren't always based on reality. They often stem from fears, doubts, and past experiences unrelated to our true potential. They represent beliefs we've internalized over time about who we are, what we can achieve, and what's possible for us. But here's the harsh truth. Many of these beliefs are merely stories we've been telling ourselves. Stories that restrict our growth and keep us trapped in old patterns. Reprogramming your subconscious mind is the process of taking control of these beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones. It's about shifting your internal narrative from one of limitation to one of possibility. The good news is that while this doesn't happen overnight, you possess the power to change it. The first step is understanding that your subconscious mind is the root of many of your actions. While you may consciously aspire to great things, your subconscious mind drives the majority of your behavior. It stores all your past experiences, emotions, and learned beliefs, operating largely on autopilot. When you make a decision, you're not just responding to the immediate situation but also to the beliefs and memories stored in your subconscious. If you've experienced past failures or hardships, your subconscious mind might develop the belief that you're not good enough or that success is unattainable. These beliefs can be so deeply ingrained that you might not even realize they're influencing your actions. If you've ever found yourself sabotaging your progress, procrastinating, or hesitating when it's time to take a leap, chances are your subconscious mind is at play, keeping you trapped in those limiting patterns. So, how do you break free? The key is to become aware of those beliefs and challenge them. Start by identifying the thoughts and stories that are holding you back. Do you believe you're not talented enough, smart enough, or capable enough? Do you fear failure or worry about being rejected? These beliefs often originate from past experiences, negative feedback, or societal expectations. They become so familiar they feel like truth, but they are simply stories. The truth is, you are more than capable, more than deserving, and more than enough. To reprogram your subconscious mind, you first need to replace these limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. This is where affirmations and visualization become crucial. Affirmations are positive statements you repeat to yourself regularly. By affirming who you want to be and what you want to achieve, you plant seeds of belief in your subconscious. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, "I am capable of achieving my goals." Instead of, "I always fail," say, "Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow." Over time, these positive statements will begin to override the negative beliefs that have been holding you back. Visualization is another powerful tool for reprogramming your subconscious. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, whether completing a project, landing a job, or achieving a personal goal, you send a clear message to your mind that success is possible. This process helps to sever the connection between your past experiences and your future potential. It allows you to see yourself not as a victim of your circumstances but as someone who can create new outcomes. The more vividly you imagine yourself succeeding, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept it as a reality. One of the biggest challenges in reprogramming your subconscious mind is overcoming resistance. The subconscious resists change. It's comfortable with the familiar, even if that familiarity is detrimental. When you try to shift your beliefs, you might encounter pushback, a sense of doubt or resistance, almost as if something inside you is saying, "This isn't who I am." But that's precisely the point. It's not who you are, it's who you've been conditioned to be. Your subconscious mind is simply trying to protect you from discomfort, but discomfort is where growth happens. The key to overcoming resistance is consistency. Reprogramming your subconscious mind isn't a one-time task, it's a daily practice. The more consistently you affirm new beliefs, visualize success, and take action toward your goals, the more your subconscious mind will adapt. Just like learning any new skill, reprogramming your mind takes time and practice, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. In addition to affirmations and visualization, another powerful tool is self-hypnosis. This technique allows you to tap into your subconscious mind directly by inducing a relaxed state where your mind is more receptive to suggestions. In this state, you can give yourself positive affirmations or visualize your goals with even greater clarity. Many successful people use self-hypnosis to change their mindset and reprogram beliefs. While it might sound cinematic, it's simply a state of deep relaxation where your mind is more open to new ideas. Another effective method for reprogramming your subconscious mind is through meditation. Meditation helps quiet the mind and increase your awareness of your thoughts. It allows you to observe your internal dialogue without judgment, enabling you to notice limiting beliefs as they arise and replace them with empowering thoughts. Meditation also helps you stay present, which is essential for breaking free from old patterns. When you focus on the present moment, rather than dwelling on past failures or worrying about the future, you create space for new beliefs and experiences to take root. As you go through this reprogramming process, remember that your subconscious mind doesn't always operate on your timeline. It's not about instant transformation, but about small, consistent shifts that build over time. Each time you affirm a positive belief, visualize your success, or meditate with intention, you're rewiring your brain to align with your new reality. These changes may not always feel dramatic in the moment, but over time, they will lead to significant shifts in how you perceive yourself and the world around you. Another key element in reprogramming your subconscious mind is to take action. Your mind can't distinguish between imagined experiences and real experiences. This means that when you visualize yourself succeeding or take steps toward your goals, your subconscious begins to accept that reality as true. The more action you take, the more your subconscious mind aligns with the beliefs you are trying to instill. Even small actions, like making a phone call, starting a new project, or learning a new skill, signal to your mind that you are moving forward. The more you act in alignment with your new beliefs, the more your subconscious will accept those beliefs as part of your identity. It's also important to surround yourself with positive influences, people, books, podcasts, or any content that reinforces the beliefs you want to adopt. When you fill your environment with messages that encourage growth, positivity, and success, you create an atmosphere that supports your reprogramming efforts. The people you spend time with significantly impact your subconscious mind. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity or self-doubt, it will be much harder to change your beliefs. But if you're around people who uplift you and challenge you to grow, you'll find that your subconscious mind starts to reflect those influences. Reprogramming your subconscious mind isn't about changing who you are, it's about removing the obstacles that have been limiting you. It's about uncovering the truth of who you are and aligning your beliefs with your true potential. It's about creating new stories of strength, success, and possibility that empower you to live the life you were always meant to live. The journey of reprogramming your mind is ongoing, but with consistent effort, the rewards are immense. You'll begin to see yourself in a new light, with a deeper sense of confidence and belief in your ability to achieve your goals. Over time, your subconscious mind will reflect your new beliefs, and the life you desire will start to become your reality. Chapter 5: The Myths of Confidence. Confidence is often perceived as a trait reserved for a select few, a natural gift some possess while others lack. But the truth is, confidence is not innate, it's a skill that can be developed. Like any other skill, it requires practice, patience, and intentional effort to build and sustain. One of the biggest misconceptions about confidence is that it stems from external validation. We often believe that recognition from others, winning a competition, or achieving a specific goal will finally make us feel confident. However, This is a pervasive myth that hinders many. External validation is fleeting. It depends on others and is inherently unreliable. Relying on others' approval for our sense of worth is a precarious game, as it means our confidence is constantly at the mercy of someone else's opinion or circumstances. True confidence comes from within. It's the belief in your own abilities, the trust that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. It doesn't rely on external factors. Instead, it's rooted in self-assurance, self-belief, and the knowledge that you are enough exactly as you are. Developing this internal validation system is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward greater confidence. When we rely on others to affirm our worth, we relinquish our power. But when we cultivate internal validation, we seize control of our self-worth. It doesn't matter if someone dislikes us or if we fail at something. Our confidence doesn't crumble because it wasn't built on fragile foundations. Instead, we understand that our value is inherent, not contingent on external praise or success. The most successful and confident individuals grasp this principle. They don't wait for external affirmation. They affirm their own worth every single day. A powerful way to build internal validation is through self-affirmations. These aren't just empty words. They are potent statements that remind you of your strengths, potential, and inherent worth. Affirmations work by reinforcing positive beliefs about yourself, counteracting the negative ones that may have accumulated over time. You might start with simple statements like, I am worthy, I am capable, or, I trust myself to succeed. These affirmations are not wishful thinking. They are reminders of the truth that your value is not dependent on others' opinions. Over time, as you consistently repeat these affirmations, they will begin to reshape your mindset, helping you shift from doubt and insecurity to self-assurance. It's important to remember that building confidence is a gradual process. It won't happen overnight. But with consistency, you'll notice a profound shift. The more you affirm your worth, the more you'll begin to believe it, recognizing your own strength and capabilities, which then becomes the bedrock of your confidence. Another way to build internal validation is by setting and achieving small goals. Confidence is built through competence. When we accomplish something, no matter how minor, we prove to ourselves that we are capable. Each small victory, however insignificant it may seem, reinforces the belief that we can handle more, that we are capable of succeeding. It's crucial to celebrate these small wins because they lay the groundwork for larger successes. The more you achieve, the more you accumulate evidence that you can do difficult things. This evidence, over time, becomes the foundation of your confidence. It's also essential to embrace the inevitable setbacks and failures that accompany any journey. We often associate failure with a lack of confidence, thinking that truly confident individuals never fail. But the opposite is true. Failure is a part of growth. It's a necessary step on the road to success. The most confident people aren't those who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn from it, and keep moving forward. They understand that failure doesn't define them. It's simply a lesson. When you adopt this mindset, you'll start to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. You'll stop fearing failure and begin to view it as a chance to grow, improve, and become stronger. One of the most effective ways to build your internal validation system is through self-reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on what you did well. What did you accomplish? No matter how small. What strengths did you demonstrate? By reflecting on your successes and strengths, you reinforce your belief in yourself. You remind yourself that you are capable, worthy of success, and constantly improving. This daily habit of self-reflection helps you stay grounded in your value, regardless of external circumstances. It's also important to surround yourself with people who encourage and support your growth. While external validation shouldn't be the cornerstone of your confidence, a positive and supportive environment can make a significant difference. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, uplift you, and challenge you to be your best. These individuals will reinforce your internal validation and help you stay motivated, especially on days when you doubt yourself. They will remind you of your worth when you forget. But remember, their validation should complement, not replace, your own. Building confidence is not about being perfect. It's about embracing your imperfections and recognizing that they don't diminish your value. No one is perfect, and no one has it all together all the time. Confidence comes from being comfortable with who you are, flaws and all. It's about accepting yourself fully, knowing that your imperfections are part of what makes you human, and choosing to move forward anyway. One of the most transformative things you can do for your confidence is to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's also the thief of confidence. When you compare yourself to others, you're essentially telling yourself that your value is based on someone else's success, appearance, or achievements. But your worth is not tied to anyone else. You are unique, with your own strengths, talents, and path. Comparing yourself to others only diminishes your own confidence and steals your focus. Instead of comparing, focus on your own journey, your own growth, and your own progress. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem, and keep moving forward with your own vision in mind. Confidence is a practice. It's something you develop over time by challenging yourself, embracing failure, affirming your worth, and recognizing your strengths. It's about shifting your mindset from self-doubt to self-assurance, from relying on external validation to building a foundation of internal belief. By cultivating this internal validation system, you will forge unshakable confidence that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. And when you possess that internal confidence, nothing can stop you from achieving your goals and becoming the person you're meant to be. Chapter 6. Building your internal validation system. We frequently seek external validation, craving approval from friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers. We mistakenly believe that hearing the words we long for, "You're doing great," "You're talented," "You're enough," will finally instill the sense of worth and confidence we desire. The truth, however, is that no amount of external praise can truly validate us unless we first learn to validate ourselves. When we rely on others for validation, we surrender our power. We allow someone else's opinions to dictate how we feel about ourselves. If they're pleased with us, we feel good. If they're critical or indifferent, our self-worth plummets. It becomes a relentless roller coaster, with fleeting highs and crushing lows. But true inner confidence is not built on external sources. It originates from learning to validate ourselves from within. Self-validation means granting yourself permission to believe in your own worth, regardless of what others think or say. It's recognizing your value, your abilities, and your potential without waiting for someone else to tell you that you are worthy. The following is a rephrased and enhanced version of the provided text, divided into chapters for clarity and engagement. Chapter 6. Building your internal validation system. True self-validation is the bedrock of lasting self-respect and confidence, a foundation that no external force can erode. It means fundamentally shifting your mindset to grasp that you are enough, regardless of anyone else's approval. This deep sense of self-awareness and self-compassion begins with the simple understanding that your worth is inherent, simply by virtue of your existence. It's not about achieving perfection or conforming to external expectations. It's about fully embracing who you are, flaws and all, and genuinely acknowledging every step of progress you make. A powerful starting point for developing your internal validation system is to practice self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, fixating on mistakes and shortcomings instead of celebrating our strengths. If you've ever found yourself spiraling into self-doubt after a misstep, you know how easily this cycle of self-criticism can take hold. But self-compassion calls on you to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd readily offer a dear friend. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, gently remind yourself that to err is human. Mistakes don't define you. They are merely stepping stones for growth and learning. By practicing self-compassion, you create a safe space to fail, learn, and then move forward, free from the heavy burden of self-judgment. This practice not only enhances your self-perception but also builds resilience, making it far easier to recover from setbacks. Another indispensable tool for building internal validation is daily self-reflection. Each day, take a few moments to honestly examine your actions, thoughts, and feelings. Ask yourself, what went well today? What challenges did I face, and how did I navigate them? This practice cultivates greater awareness of your strengths and the consistent progress you're making, no matter how minor it seems. Instead of fixating on perceived failures or shortcomings, intentionally focus on your achievements. Celebrate those moments and genuinely acknowledge the growth happening within you. Consider keeping a journal to log your accomplishments, big and small. This serves as an invaluable record of your journey, a powerful reminder of how far you've come. On days when self-doubt creeps in, revisit your journal. Reading through your successes can offer a potent boost of motivation and reinforce your belief in your own capabilities. Over time, you'll uncover a compelling pattern of growth and resilience, which will further solidify your self-belief. A cornerstone of self-validation is learning to trust yourself. When we constantly seek external validation, we're implicitly questioning our own judgment. We look outside for approval because we doubt our decisions. But as you cultivate self-validation, you learn to trust your capacity for sound judgment and your wisdom to navigate life's challenges. This doesn't mean you'll always make perfect choices, but it does mean you'll trust yourself enough to take action and learn from any missteps along the way. Trusting yourself also demands honesty. If you make a mistake or fall short of your own expectations, acknowledge it without shame or guilt. Instead of denying or hiding from your errors, own them. Recognizing and accepting your imperfections is a pivotal step in building robust internal validation. It's not about being flawless, it's about being authentic. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you liberate yourself from the relentless need for external validation. Furthermore, learning to validate yourself involves celebrating your successes, both grand and small. We often become so fixated on future goals or what we still need to accomplish that we neglect to acknowledge the progress already made. Every step forward, no matter how minuscule, is worthy of celebration. Whether it's completing a challenging project, overcoming a personal hurdle, or simply getting through a difficult day, give yourself genuine credit for your effort. This practice not only boosts your confidence but also reinforces the belief that you are capable and deserving of success. Ultimately, the most profound validation originates from within. It's the quiet, unwavering acknowledgement that you are enough, just as you are. When you truly embrace self-validation, you break free from the constant yearning for external approval, becoming less reliant on outside praise and more attuned to your own growth. This shift in mindset is transformative, as it places you squarely in control of your self-worth. Remember, self-validation is not arrogance or self-centeredness. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and the unique value you bring to the world. It's about standing tall in your own truth, knowing you don't need anyone's permission to feel good about yourself. As you cultivate self-validation, your perception of the world will change. You'll no longer depend on others' opinions to define you. Instead, you become the ultimate authority on your own life. You'll understand your capabilities and trust your decisions. You'll shift from seeking approval to relentlessly pursuing growth, thereby forging an unshakable foundation of confidence and self-worth that will empower you through any challenge life presents. With each step you take towards validating yourself, you strengthen the very core of your self-belief, and that foundation will powerfully support you through whatever lies ahead. Chapter 7. Body Language Hacks for Instant Confidence. How we carry ourselves exerts a profound influence on both our internal state and how others perceive us. While our emotions and mindset are undeniably shaped by internal thoughts, the way we present ourselves to the world through our body language plays an equally crucial role in shaping our experience. In fact, simply adjusting your posture or facial expression can immediately impact not only how others view you, but also how you view yourself. Body language is an incredibly powerful, yet often underutilized, tool. It can project confidence, build trust, and even swiftly shift our own mindset when we need it most. The good news? You don't need years of training or professional expertise to master it. With just a few simple adjustments, you can begin to feel more confident, in control, and empowered in your daily life. Consider your presence the last time you were in a crowded room. What did your body language communicate? If you were slumped, arms crossed, avoiding eye contact, you likely felt small, insecure, or even invisible. Conversely, if you stood tall, shoulders back, and engaged in eye contact, you probably felt more assertive, capable, and ready to take on the world. These subtle shifts in posture and demeanor can significantly alter how we feel about ourselves and how others react to us. It's as if your body sends a clear signal to your mind, influencing your emotional state. The excellent news is that you have the power to control that signal. To feel more confident in any situation, start by simply adjusting your posture. Stand or sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, and hold your head high. This small change can instantly make you feel more grounded, present, and powerful. It's an effortless yet effective way to boost your confidence without needing external validation. By making these subtle adjustments, you begin to signal to your mind that you are confident and capable, and when your mind believes that, your actions will naturally follow. Body language extends beyond just posture. It also encompasses how you use your hands and face. Crossing your arms or hiding your hands can signal defensiveness or being closed off. In contrast, when you adopt open body language, keeping your arms uncrossed, gesturing naturally as you speak, and smiling, people are more likely to perceive you as approachable, open, and confident. You'll likely begin to feel more confident, too. The key is to become aware of your habitual postures and make small, conscious adjustments that promote a feeling of openness and assertiveness. This isn't about adopting an overly dramatic or forced pose, but finding a natural, relaxed way to present yourself that exudes ease and confidence. Your face is another critical area where body language makes a big difference. When we feel insecure or uncertain, we often make ourselves appear smaller. Our eyes might dart, we avoid eye contact, or we look down. These subtle cues can convey a lack of confidence. However, when you maintain eye contact, smile, and hold your head high, you project a sense of assurance and trustworthiness. A simple smile alone can be incredibly impactful, not just in how others perceive you, but also in how you feel about yourself. Smiling sends a direct message to your brain that you are happy, relaxed, and confident, even if you don't fully feel that way yet. It's one of the simplest ways to boost your mood and cultivate confidence in any situation. Consider how these body language adjustments can be applied to everyday scenarios. If you're entering a meeting or a social event where you feel nervous, intentionally focus on your physical presence. Stand tall, take slow, deliberate steps, and make eye contact with those around you. By doing this, you immediately shift your mindset from self-doubt to self-assurance. You might still experience some internal nervousness, but your body language will tell a different story, and over time, you'll notice that when you hold yourself confidently, those feelings of nervousness tend to subside. It's also crucial to remember that body language isn't just for external interactions. It profoundly impacts our internal state. When you change your posture, you alter the very dialogue between your mind and body. Adopting a confident posture sends a message to your brain that you are capable and in control, even when facing uncertainty. If you stand or sit in a way that exudes confidence, you begin to feel more in command of the situation. It's a simple yet powerful shift that can have a significant impact on your mindset and emotional state. One of the most widely recognized techniques for using body language to enhance confidence is the power pose. This concept suggests that adopting expansive, open body postures, like standing with your feet shoulder-width apart, hands on your hips, and chest lifted, can literally boost your confidence levels and make you feel more powerful. Studies indicate that power poses can increase testosterone, the hormone linked to dominance and power, and decrease cortisol, the stress hormone, leading to feelings of greater confidence and reduced anxiety. While this might seem like a minor adjustment, its influence on our feelings has been scientifically demonstrated. Taking a moment to assume a power pose before a significant presentation or stressful situation can mentally and physically prepare you to tackle whatever comes your way. Another effective way to leverage body language is through mirroring. This involves subtly mimicking the body language of the person you're interacting with. Mirroring creates a sense of connection and rapport, making the other person feel more comfortable and understood, which, in turn, can boost your confidence in the interaction. The key is to mirror movements and gestures in a natural, relaxed way. For instance, if they lean forward, you can lean slightly forward too. If they smile, you can return the smile. This simple technique fosters ease and mutual respect, and it's a powerful way to build confidence in social settings. Ultimately, mastering body language isn't about feigning confidence. It's about becoming more aware of how your physical presence reflects your internal state and making small, intentional adjustments to align with the confidence you aspire to project. It's about recognizing that you possess the power to influence both how you feel and how others perceive you, simply by paying attention to the way you carry yourself. Confidence doesn't originate from some external source. It springs from within. And one of the easiest ways to access that innate confidence is through your body. By adjusting your posture, making eye contact, smiling, and using open body language, you can immediately shift your mindset and project an image of self-assurance. Over time, these small changes will become second nature, allowing you to embody the confidence you once thought was unattainable. It's all about harnessing the power of your own body to cultivate a more confident, more empowered version of yourself. Chapter 8. Mastering the Art of Incremental Improvement. The journey of improvement often feels overwhelmingly daunting. We face grand dreams, ambitions that seem just out of reach, and goals that can feel impossible to achieve. Yet, the profound truth is that progress rarely happens in monumental leaps. Instead, it's the small, incremental steps we consistently take each day that cumulatively create the most significant transformations in our lives. This concept of incremental improvement isn't about making sporadic, large changes. It's about a disciplined focus on minor, consistent actions that add up exponentially over time. Rather than attempting a complete self-overhaul all at once, the secret lies in committing to one small improvement today, then repeating that commitment tomorrow, and the day after. Over time, these seemingly insignificant changes compound, building unstoppable momentum that propels you toward your larger aspirations. Consider the daunting image of a vast mountain. The idea of climbing it might initially overwhelm you. But if you break it down into smaller, manageable steps, simply putting one foot in front of the other, you will, eventually, reach the summit. Self-improvement follows the same principle. When you commit to consistent, small actions, you're building a stable foundation for growth that feels far less intimidating than trying to change everything at once. The inherent beauty of incremental improvement is its sustainability. Unlike radical changes that are often difficult to maintain, small daily improvements are far more manageable. Whether it's reading a single chapter of a book, committing to a 10-minute walk, or making minor tweaks to your daily routine, these actions don't demand Herculean effort. Yet, their cumulative effect over time is profound. One of the most powerful aspects of this approach is its universal applicability, regardless of your starting point. If you're just embarking on your self-improvement journey, there's no need for immediate, dramatic shifts. Begin with small, consistent actions. Focus on one specific area of your life, improve it subtly each day, and observe its growth. Whether it's enhancing your physical health, boosting your mental clarity, or nurturing stronger relationships, every tiny action contributes to the overarching picture. For example, if you aspire to improve your fitness but feel daunted by the prospect of an hour at the gym daily, don't try to jump into an intense routine. Instead, start with just 5 minutes of stretching or a brief walk each day. Your immediate aim isn't massive overnight results, but rather the crucial act of showing up consistently. Over time, those 5 minutes will organically expand to 10, then 20, and before you know it, your consistent efforts will forge a routine that becomes second nature. Small improvements aren't solely for tangible goals like fitness or career advancement. They work wonders for your mindset and mental health too. For instance, you can begin by practicing daily gratitude. Instead of dwelling on negativity, simply write down one thing you're thankful for each day. Initially, this might feel forced, but with consistency, your brain will begin to naturally recognize more positive aspects, shifting your overall mindset day by day. You'll find yourself becoming more optimistic and better equipped to handle life's challenges. What makes incremental improvement so potent is how it fosters a genuine sense of progress. It's easy to get discouraged when immediate results aren't visible. You might work for days, weeks, or even months without feeling a significant impact on your goals. However, when you look back at how far you've come, you'll realize that every small effort has accumulated into something much larger. That feeling of steady progress is precisely what sustains your motivation when the path ahead seems long. This principle of improvement also helps prevent burnout. We've all been guilty of setting overly ambitious goals with unrealistic overnight expectations. When rapid results don't materialize, motivation often wanes, leading to abandonment. By focusing on small, sustainable improvements, you strategically position yourself for long-term success. It's about securing daily wins rather than perpetually waiting for a massive victory that might be months away. With this mindset, every minor achievement becomes a cause for celebration. A vital aspect of this process is learning to measure your progress not by the distance remaining, but by how far you've already come. Progress is rarely linear, and some days will undoubtedly be more challenging than others. But if you commit to showing up daily, even when it's difficult, you'll discover that incremental improvements inevitably lead to consistent growth. Tracking your progress helps you stay motivated and focused on the long-term outcome, preventing you from getting bogged down by short-term setbacks. A highly effective tool for tracking progress is the concept of micro-goals. These are tiny, manageable objectives you can achieve each day or week that incrementally move you closer to your larger goal. For example, if you're writing a book, your micro-goal might be to write 200 words a day. If your aim is better health, it could be adding one healthy meal to your week or drinking an extra glass of water daily. The key is that these goals are always achievable, realistic, and small enough not to overwhelm you. The beauty of micro-goals lies in the flexibility they offer for consistent progress amidst real-life circumstances. Life isn't always perfect, and you won't always have the time or energy to accomplish everything planned. But when your goals are small and realistic, it's far easier to recover after a tough day and continue moving forward. This approach removes the pressure of needing to be perfect every time, instead encouraging consistent progress without guilt. Beyond tangible achievements, the practice of small improvements fundamentally transforms you as a person. When you commit to incremental improvement, you cultivate the habit of perseverance. You learn to show up every single day, even when motivation wanes. Over time, this mindset of steady progress becomes deeply ingrained in your identity. Instead of viewing yourself as someone who struggles with motivation or achieves goals only occasionally, you evolve into someone who is consistently improving, regardless of how small the daily steps may be. Furthermore, by committing to incremental improvement, you become significantly more adaptable. Life will inevitably present challenges and obstacles. However, by consistently focusing on small, manageable steps, you become better equipped to navigate those challenges. You learn to adjust your goals, refine your strategies, and keep moving forward, even when the path is winding. With each passing day, you build greater resilience and unwavering confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Ultimately, lasting success isn't forged in huge breakthroughs or dramatic moments. It's built through the small, consistent actions that compound over time. Whether it's a tiny improvement in your physical health, a subtle shift in your mindset, or a minute step toward your larger aspiration, those consistent, little efforts are precisely what create the profound changes you desire. By embracing the art of incremental improvement, you strategically position yourself for long-term success, empowering you to achieve what you once deemed impossible. Each day truly becomes an opportunity to grow, to improve, and to get better, step by deliberate step. Chapter 9. The Science Behind Habit Formation. Habits are the silent architects of our lives. They operate beneath the surface, often unnoticed, yet wield profound influence over our daily routines, decisions, and long-term outcomes. If you genuinely want to transform your life, the first crucial step is to understand the mechanics of habits and learn how to consciously harness their immense power for your benefit. It's not about orchestrating massive, life-altering changes overnight. It's about intelligently and intentionally building habits that actively support the person you aspire to become. At their core, habits are simply behaviors that become automatic through repetition. Think about the myriad actions you perform daily without conscious thought. Brushing your teeth, instinctively checking your phone, pouring that morning cup of coffee. These actions, though seemingly trivial, are deeply ingrained in your daily routine. They demand minimal thought or willpower because they've become an integral part of who you are. This is the profound power of habits. They shape your identity and guide your actions, often without your explicit awareness. The process of habit formation is remarkably straightforward, yet its simplicity can be deceiving. The brain forms habits in response to repeated behaviors. The more consistently you repeat an action, the more automatic it becomes. Over time, your brain develops strong associations between specific cues and particular actions. This is why, for instance, you might automatically reach for your phone the moment you wake up, or feel an irresistible urge to check your email throughout the day. These actions are so deeply embedded in your routine that they require almost no conscious effort. However, not all habits are created equal. Some serve you exceptionally well, actively fostering your growth and improvement, while others can keep you stuck, limiting your true potential. The key to mastering habits lies in recognizing which ones are propelling you forward and which ones are holding you back. This critical awareness is the essential first step in taking control of your habits and systematically transforming them into positive, life-changing routines. A highly effective way to begin building positive habits is to start incredibly small. Attempting to change everything at once is almost always overwhelming and counterproductive. Instead, focus on cultivating just one new habit at a time. Choose something simple, something that feels undeniably achievable, and commit to doing it every single day. This could be as minor as drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, journaling for just 5 minutes before bed, or dedicating 10 minutes daily to reading a book. The overarching principle is to select a habit that's small enough to consistently stick with, yet impactful enough to make a noticeable difference in your life. As you embark on building these small habits, it's crucial to track your progress. Monitoring your habits provides vital accountability and allows you to visibly see the improvements you're making, no matter how tiny they initially appear. Use a habit tracker or a simple journal to mark off each day you successfully complete your chosen habit. This straightforward act of tracking can be incredibly motivating, visually reinforcing the desired behavior and making it significantly easier to continue. One of the most common reasons people fail to sustain new habits is the tendency to attempt too much too soon. It's easy to become overly enthusiastic about self-improvement and believe that immediate, drastic changes are necessary for success. But the undeniable truth is that small, consistent actions are vastly more effective than ambitious, short-lived efforts. The power of building habits and adapting to change. Mastering the art of habit formation. When you commit to cultivating one small habit at a time, you allow your brain to gracefully adapt, forging new and robust neural pathways. Over time, these seemingly insignificant actions will compound, leading to profound, life-altering transformations. Another critical pillar of habit formation is consistency. It's simply not enough to perform an action once or twice and expect it to stick. For a habit to truly take root, you must repeat it reliably over an extended period. Research indicates it takes, on average, around 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. This means that initially, the new action might feel awkward or forced, but with unwavering commitment, it will eventually become second nature. The key is to stay dedicated, even when the process feels challenging or progress appears agonizingly slow. The environment you craft for yourself plays an equally significant role in habit formation. Your surroundings exert immense influence on your behaviors, often in ways you scarcely realize. To make a positive habit easier to stick, strategically engineer your environment to support that behavior. For instance, if you aim to eat healthier, keep nutritious snacks readily visible and remove tempting unhealthy options from your kitchen. If you plan to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before, eliminating any friction to getting started. The more you design your environment to work for you, the simpler it becomes to form and consistently maintain your desired habits. As you embark on building new habits, remember to practice patience with yourself. The process of habit formation is rarely linear. There will be days when you miss a habit or struggle to maintain consistency, and this is entirely normal. What truly matters is that you don't give up. It's about progress, not perfection. When you slip up, resist the urge to self-criticize. Instead, calmly reflect on what happened and leverage it as an opportunity to learn and adjust your approach. The goal is to keep moving forward, even when circumstances aren't ideal. The more you practice, the more effortless it will become. One of the most powerful techniques to reinforce a new habit is habit stacking, pairing it with an action you already consistently perform. For example, if you already have the ingrained habit of making coffee every morning, you can stack a new habit directly on top of it. Perhaps while your coffee brews, you'll spend 5 minutes doing a quick stretch or reading an inspirational quote. By linking a new habit with an existing one, you create a natural trigger that significantly improves recall and follow-through. Over time, as you diligently build more positive habits and reinforce the ones you've established, you'll witness profound transformations in your life. These seemingly small, daily actions might appear insignificant in the moment, but when compounded over time, they unleash massive changes. You'll observe improvements in your health, productivity, mindset, and relationships, sometimes in ways you never anticipated. The secret to long-term success lies precisely in these consistent, incremental actions. The true beauty of habits is that they empower you to sculpt the life you desire without having to solely rely on willpower. Willpower is a finite resource, but habits, once established, become automatic. Once a routine is ingrained, you no longer need to force yourself to take action. The behavior becomes an organic part of your daily existence. This is precisely why it's paramount to focus on building positive habits that directly align with your goals and values. When you consistently make progress every day, even in minute ways, you are actively creating a life that authentically reflects the person you aspire to become. Ultimately, habits are the foundational building blocks of transformation. They are the small, everyday actions that meticulously shape your future. When you master the art of habit formation, you unlock the unparalleled ability to make lasting, meaningful changes in any area of your life. Whether your aim is to enhance your health, advance your career, or cultivate a stronger mindset, it all unequivocally starts with the habits you intentionally create today. So, take a moment to honestly reflect on the habits currently driving your life. Are they genuinely serving you? Are they guiding you closer to your desired future? If not, it's time to start small, stay consistent, and begin building the habits that will propel you to the next level. Micro goals for macro success. The aspiration of achieving massive success can often feel daunting, even paralyzing. The sheer vision of your ultimate destination might seem so impossibly distant that it's hard to even begin. But here's an essential truth. Big goals aren't achieved through monumental leaps. They're meticulously built step by step, through a series of small, accumulated successes. This is precisely where micro goals become invaluable. The concept of micro goals revolves around the strategic act of breaking down a large, overarching goal into smaller, highly manageable pieces. Instead of fixating on the overwhelming magnitude of a grand accomplishment, you begin with tiny, specific actions that feel genuinely doable in the present moment. These small goals are inherently easier to achieve, and each time you check one off, it provides a vital surge of momentum to tackle the next. When you fragment your grand dreams into these smaller, bite-sized goals, the path ahead becomes remarkably clearer. You no longer have to contemplate the entire mountain. You simply need to focus on the immediate next step. This approach makes the entire journey feel less intimidating and far more achievable. It also helps you cultivate a powerful pattern of success. Each micro goal you accomplish not only brings you closer to your larger objective but also significantly boosts your confidence and reinforces the belief that you are indeed capable of making tangible progress. Think of it like scaling a formidable mountain. The entire ascent is a colossal challenge, but if you compartmentalize the climb into manageable sections, say, reaching the next ledge, then the subsequent one, and so on, the climb suddenly feels far less overwhelming. You can always clearly see your immediate next step, and that provides the consistent motivation to keep moving. The same principle applies to any goal you harbor. Instead of fixating solely on the distant end result, redirect your attention to what's directly in front of you and proceed one deliberate step at a time. Micro goals also brilliantly help you sidestep the trap of perfectionism. Perfectionism frequently leads to paralysis, where the obsessive focus on getting everything exactly right results in doing nothing at all. With micro goals, the emphasis is squarely on progress, not perfection. By setting small, achievable objectives, you grant yourself the invaluable space to make mistakes and learn along the way. You're not striving for flawless execution. You're simply moving forward, celebrating one small victory after another. The true power of micro goals lies in their capacity to build momentum. This is a secret well understood by athletes, performers, and successful individuals across all domains. Success doesn't spring from a single, grand breakthrough moment. It's the inevitable result of consistent small actions taken over time. It's the cumulative effect of countless tiny steps that ultimately leads to massive growth. By starting with small, achievable goals, you initiate a virtuous cycle of momentum, and as we know, momentum is incredibly powerful. Once you have even a little bit of progress under your belt, it becomes progressively easier to keep going. For example, let's say your grand goal is to write a book. This is a monumental undertaking, and it's easy to feel discouraged by its sheer magnitude. But if you meticulously break it down into micro goals, it suddenly feels far more manageable. Perhaps your initial micro goal is to write 100 words a day. Once you consistently accomplish that, your next goal might become 200 words. As you steadily build this habit and achieve these small, daily victories, the task of writing a book no longer seems so overwhelming. You've built momentum, and you'll likely find yourself writing more and more without even consciously thinking about it. Micro goals are also incredibly useful for tracking progress. It's easy to lose sight of your advancement when your sole focus is the big picture. But when you break things down into smaller pieces, you gain tangible evidence of your progress every single step of the way. These little wins provide something concrete to celebrate, no matter how small, and that celebration helps fuel your motivation to persist. Tracking micro goals doesn't need to be complicated. You can keep it as simple as using a checklist, a journal, or an app to mark off each goal as you achieve it. The critical element is consistently documenting your progress, not just waiting for the final destination. By doing so, you give yourself continuous opportunities to celebrate small victories, which reinforces positive behaviors and keeps you moving forward. Beyond tracking, another vital aspect of micro goals that cannot be overlooked is consistency. The fundamental key to achieving anything, regardless of its scale, is doing it consistently. Micro goals, by their very nature, promote consistency because they are intentionally designed to be achievable on a daily basis. They seamlessly fit into your life without demanding huge investments of time or energy. By consistently taking these small actions, you begin to establish a sustainable rhythm, and that rhythm inevitably propels you closer to your larger aspirations. The true brilliance of micro goals is that they empower you to create a robust structure of success that harmonizes with your existing routine. You don't need to carve out hours of free time each day to work toward your objectives. You can set micro goals that require just a few minutes of your day, meaning you don't have to make major sacrifices to stay on track. This is incredibly empowering, as it dismantles the common excuse of not having enough time. Instead of perceiving your goal as something that necessitates drastic changes, you begin to see it as something that can naturally integrate into your life. To make micro goals truly work for you, it's crucial to remain flexible. Life rarely adheres strictly to plans, and you will inevitably encounter obstacles that make it harder to stay on track. But that's perfectly okay. Micro goals are meant to be adaptable. If you miss a day or fall behind, don't succumb to discouragement. The paramount thing is to get back on track and keep moving forward. Remember, the ultimate goal is progress, not perfection. Another important consideration when setting micro goals is to ensure they consistently align with your larger vision. It's easy to get consumed by the small details and lose sight of the bigger picture. However, every micro goal you set should unequivocally serve as a stepping stone toward your larger objective. Each micro goal should bring you one deliberate step closer to the person you aspire to become and the life you wish to create. As you meticulously work through your micro goals, remember that the process is just as important as the result. The habits you build, the consistency you cultivate, and the progress you make every single day are all integral parts of the journey. Don't be solely fixated on the outcome. Truly appreciate the growth that unfolds along the way. Celebrate your small victories because they accumulate into something significant. Every little step you take brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. The profound beauty of micro goals is that they allow you to create lasting change without overwhelming yourself. They lift the immense weight of the big goal off your shoulders and empower you to focus on what's genuinely possible right now. And as you achieve each small victory, you build the confidence and momentum to tackle even greater challenges. So, take your grand dreams, meticulously break them down into manageable, bite-sized pieces, start with one small action, and keep going. Over time, those tiny goals will compound into something truly incredible, and before you know it, you'll have transformed your life, one micro goal at a time. Tracking progress for greater momentum. The journey toward personal growth and achieving your goals can often feel like an arduous uphill battle, especially when progress seems painstakingly slow or difficult to discern. It's easy to become discouraged when you can't readily see the tangible results of your dedicated efforts. This is precisely why tracking progress is absolutely essential. When you diligently track your progress, you begin to visibly see just how far you've truly come, even on the most challenging days. The simple act of keeping a record can be a profound game changer. It not only reinforces the effort you've invested but also provides a potent sense of accomplishment, sustained motivation, and crystal clear clarity. It effectively shifts your focus away from what you haven't yet done to what you have already achieved, and that shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. It's human nature to crave immediate results. We live in a world that offers instant gratification, and it's easy to grow impatient when things aren't unfolding as swiftly as we'd like. However, true growth, especially meaningful and sustainable growth, demands time. By tracking your progress, you're creating a vivid visual reminder that even the smallest steps genuinely count. This practice helps you stay grounded and deeply connected to the process itself, rather than becoming solely fixated on the distant destination. Reflect on the last time you set a significant goal, whether it was to get fitter, master a new skill, or achieve a career milestone. It likely seemed overwhelming at first. But as you meticulously broke the task down into smaller, more manageable steps, you began to experience a tangible sense of accomplishment with each small win. Tracking that progress is akin to pausing to genuinely appreciate how far you've advanced. Tracking progress doesn't merely help you measure how much closer you are to your goal, it also serves as a continuous source of motivation. When you can physically observe the strides you're making, it becomes significantly easier to keep moving forward, even when the finish line still feels incredibly distant. A day when you successfully check off a task is a victory, no matter how small. If you've been diligently chipping away at a long-term goal for weeks or months, you might not see immediate, dramatic results. But when you have a systematic way to track what you've completed, you'll vividly notice just how much you've actually accomplished over time. Tracking progress can be as simple as consistently writing things down, whether you opt for a journal, a dedicated app, or a straightforward checklist. The very act of recording your daily efforts creates powerful accountability. It provides essential structure to your routine and makes it considerably easier to identify patterns. Perhaps you've been consistent for weeks but missed one day. When you track, you'll know that a single missed day doesn't nullify all the preceding work. You can get back on track without feeling like a complete failure. The simple act of marking things down reinforces the vital idea that you're consistently moving in the right direction, even on days when it feels like nothing significant is happening. One of the most effective ways to track progress is by setting benchmarks. These are smaller, measurable, and achievable goals within a defined period. For example, if your ultimate goal is to write a book, a benchmark could be to write 500 words a day for the next 2 weeks. Once you've achieved that, you can set another benchmark, such as writing 1,000 words a day or completing a specific chapter. These strategic checkpoints allow you to clearly see your position in relation to your larger objective. Each one brings you closer to the finish line, and witnessing these small victories will keep you actively engaged and highly motivated. Another powerful tool for tracking progress is reflecting on your journey. At the end of each week or month, dedicate a moment to look back at what you've accomplished. This isn't an exercise in self-criticism or comparing yourself to others. It's about genuinely recognizing the effort you've invested, the challenges you've faced, and the invaluable lessons you've learned along the way. Reflection helps you acknowledge your personal growth and reinforces the powerful idea that every single step counts, no matter how small it may initially seem. Tracking progress also grants you the invaluable ability to adjust your approach if something isn't working effectively. For instance, if you're working toward a fitness goal and consistently notice low energy levels or a lack of expected progress, tracking can help you pinpoint areas for improvement. Perhaps your diet or sleep schedule needs adjustment, or maybe your workouts require more variety. Without tracking, it's easy to fall into the trap of repeating the same actions without realizing what isn't yielding results. But when you track, you gain crucial insights that empower you to adjust and fine-tune your strategy. This ensures you keep moving forward, even if you need to make changes along the way. It's also vital to track not just your output, but also how you feel throughout the process. Personal growth isn't solely about checking off tasks or meeting external milestones. It's profoundly about how you evolve as a person. Do you feel more confident? Are you handling setbacks with greater ease than before? Are you more patient with yourself and others? These intangible measures of progress are just as significant as the tangible ones, and tracking your emotional and mental growth helps you appreciate the full scope of your transformation. Celebrating your progress is equally crucial. Acknowledging even the smallest wins, no matter how insignificant they might seem, powerfully builds momentum. If you've committed to drinking more water every day, for example, and you've consistently done so for a week, that is absolutely worth celebrating. You've successfully forged a new habit. When you take the time to celebrate, you reinforce positive behavior and remind yourself that progress is always worth recognizing. These moments of celebration can be as simple as a pat on the back, taking a short, well-deserved break, or rewarding yourself with something you genuinely enjoy. Tracking progress also cultivates resilience. When you inevitably face challenges or obstacles, it's easy to become discouraged and question the worth of your efforts. But if you've been consistently tracking your progress, you'll possess concrete evidence of the significant strides you've already made. You'll vividly recall overcoming similar obstacles before, and you'll be able to confidently remind yourself of the progress you've already achieved. This tangible reminder provides the inner strength to keep going, even when circumstances feel incredibly difficult. In addition to tracking your progress, it's paramount to recognize the immense importance of consistency. It's not enough to sporadically check things off and expect grand results. Real, sustainable progress stems from showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency, accumulated over time, builds powerful discipline. It strengthens your work ethic and teaches you how to persevere even when immediate results aren't apparent. When you consistently track your progress, you create a habit that becomes second nature. It's no longer about waiting for motivation to miraculously strike. You're simply doing the work because it has become an intrinsic part of who you are. Tracking progress is an incredibly powerful tool for maintaining laser focus on your goals. It fundamentally shifts your mindset from a place of frustration and doubt to one of clarity and unwavering determination. It consistently reminds you that every single step you take, no matter how minute, is a step closer to where you aspire to be. It instills in you the confidence to keep moving forward, even on the days when progress feels slow or utterly invisible. By diligently tracking your progress, you are strategically setting yourself up for long-term success. You're creating a robust system that empowers you to monitor your growth, intelligently adjust your approach when necessary, and genuinely celebrate your victories along the way. It's a simple yet profoundly effective strategy that ensures you remain steadfast on the path to your goals, even when unforeseen obstacles arise. So, begin tracking your progress today. Keep a meticulous record of your wins, both big and small, and always remember that every single step you take is an integral part of the larger journey. Over time, those small, consistent steps will compound into something truly remarkable. Adapting to change, not resisting it. Change is an absolute certainty. It's not something you can control, nor should you attempt to fight it. It manifests in myriad forms, some anticipated, others completely unexpected. Yet, the one common thread connecting all change is its inherent capacity to feel like a disruption. When circumstances shift, especially when they challenge the existing status quo, it's a natural human reaction to feel a pang of panic or discomfort. However, rather than rigidly resisting change, it is absolutely essential to learn how to adapt to it. When you master the art of adaptation, you gain the extraordinary ability to thrive, regardless of what life throws your way. This capacity to adapt often marks the critical difference between enduring success and stagnant frustration. The truth is, we are creatures of habit. We crave routine. We find comfort in knowing what to expect. But life, by its very nature, rarely unfolds exactly according to plan. We experience personal setbacks, significant shifts in the workplace, evolving relationships, or even profound societal transformations. These moments can utterly disrupt everything we thought we knew, making it easy to fall into the trap of resisting what's new or unfamiliar. However, resistance only generates more stress. It leaves us stuck, desperately clinging to the past, and actively prevents us from moving forward. Instead of battling change, we must learn to wholeheartedly accept it, understand it, and harness it to our advantage. Adaptability is the undeniable key. Reflect on times in your life when you've had no choice but to adjust. Perhaps it was relocating to a new city or starting a challenging new job. Maybe it was something as simple as acquiring a new skill. Initially, it was likely uncomfortable, wasn't it? You felt uncertain, unfamiliar with the ropes, and perhaps even doubted your own capabilities. But as time progressed, you gradually grew accustomed to the new environment. You figured things out, adjusted your mindset, took things step by step, and eventually, you thrived in that novel situation. This very process of adjustment is something we can all learn to embrace more consciously. Adapting to change doesn't happen overnight. It demands patience, resilience, and a genuine willingness to step outside the confines of your comfort zone. But once you understand how to approach change with an open and receptive mind, it transforms into an incredibly powerful catalyst for growth. The first crucial step in adapting to change is letting go of the absolute need for certainty. We often derive comfort from knowing what's coming next, but in reality, complete certainty about the future is an illusion. When we cling too tightly to what is known, we inadvertently prevent ourselves from discovering new opportunities and inadvertently limit ourselves to a narrow view of what's truly possible. Instead of futilely attempting to predict the future or meticulously control every single outcome, we must learn to coexist with uncertainty and actively embrace the unknown. It is through this acceptance that we create fertile ground for new experiences and profound personal growth. Another vital aspect of adapting is flexibility. When you confront a challenge or a change that feels overwhelming, your initial instinct might be to rigidly adhere to your original plan. However, being overly rigid in your ways frequently generates frustration when things inevitably deviate from expectations. Flexibility is the capacity to pivot when necessary. It's about being wholeheartedly willing to adjust your course and courageously try new approaches when the old ones no longer serve you effectively. Instead of perceiving change as an insurmountable obstacle, view it as an opportune moment to learn and grow. Sometimes, the new, unexpected path will lead you to a destination that is even superior to the one you originally envisioned. This kind of flexibility doesn't imply abandoning your core goals or losing sight of your ultimate purpose. It's about maintaining adaptability in how you achieve them. The goal remains steadfast, but the specific route you take to get there might shift, and that is perfectly acceptable. In fact, it's often essential. Life is replete with unexpected twists and turns, and being flexible empowers you to navigate those changes without losing vital momentum. It's also crucial to recognize that change is almost invariably accompanied by a period of discomfort. When something significant shifts in your life, it's entirely natural to feel uneasy. You might question your capability to handle the change or harbor fears that you won't be able to adapt. This discomfort is not only normal but also an inherent part of the process. It's a clear signal that you are stepping outside of your established comfort zone, and that is precisely where authentic growth truly occurs. This initial discomfort does not last forever. In fact, the more you expose yourself to change and actively allow yourself to adapt, the easier the process becomes. Over time, you cultivate resilience, the profound ability to bounce back from adversity and continue moving forward despite formidable challenges. Resilience is meticulously built through direct experience. The more you face change head-on and successfully adapt to it, the stronger your capacity to cope with future challenges becomes. Each time you skillfully navigate a difficult situation, you learn something new and invaluable about yourself and your inherent ability to handle adversity. These experiences consistently build your confidence and help you realize that no matter what comes your way, you possess the inner strength to manage it. Life may not always unfold according to your meticulous plans, but you've consistently demonstrated that you possess the strength and flexibility to adapt and thrive. The ultimate key to successfully adapting to change is maintaining a positive mindset. It's easy to succumb to discouragement when things don't go as planned or when the future feels uncertain. But instead of fixating on the negative facets of change, intentionally focus on what you can control and the potential opportunities that lie ahead. Change frequently brings with it new opportunities, whether they are personal, professional, or relational. By remaining open-minded and focusing on these possibilities, you strategically position yourself for success, even amidst the turbulence of change. One powerful way to cultivate this positive mindset is through the practice of gratitude. When circumstances shift, it's natural to experience a sense of loss, especially if you're letting go of something familiar and comforting. But by consciously focusing on what you still possess and what you've gained from the experience, you can dramatically shift your perspective. Gratitude helps you reframe the situation in a more positive light, making it significantly easier to accept and adapt to the changes you're facing. When you practice gratitude, you constantly remind yourself that change doesn't diminish your life. Rather, it often adds new layers and rich dimensions that can profoundly enrich your overall experience. Alongside gratitude, it's crucial to practice mindfulness during moments of change. In times of transition, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the what-ifs and the myriad unknowns. Mindfulness helps you stay firmly present, focusing keenly on what is happening right now rather than succumbing to worries about the future. It empowers you to approach change with a deep sense of calm and clarity, rather than being consumed by anxiety. When you are mindful, you can make better decisions, navigate challenges with a clear head, and respond to change in a way that truly serves your well-being. Another powerful tool for adapting to change is actively seeking support. Change can be incredibly isolating, especially when you're attempting to navigate it alone. Whether you're grappling with a personal loss, a significant career shift, or a major life transition, having a robust support system can make an immense difference. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely encourage and uplift you helps you stay grounded and focused during times of uncertainty. And remember, support doesn't exclusively have to come from others. It can also originate from within. Self-compassion, self-acceptance, and positive self-talk are all powerful ways to support yourself during periods of change. The more you consistently engage in these habits, the easier it becomes to adapt to new circumstances. It's also crucial to recognize that change doesn't always have to be dramatic or disruptive. Sometimes, change can be subtle. A new perspective, a slight shift in behavior, or a small adjustment in how you approach a situation. These minor changes can accumulate over time, leading to significant personal growth. Embrace even these little shifts, because they possess the power to create lasting transformations that propel you forward. Change isn't something to fear or resist. It's an inherent, natural part of life that continuously provides opportunities for personal development, growth, and novel experiences. When you learn to embrace change, adapt to its flow, and leverage it to your advantage, you unlock a world of possibilities. Life will always evolve, but your capacity to adapt will determine how well you truly thrive within it. So, instead of fighting change, learn to ride the wave. With each change you face, you'll become more resilient, more flexible, and better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Adaptation is a skill that, once honed, will serve you faithfully for a lifetime. Developing agility in your mindset. The journey of growth is rarely linear. Some days, you'll feel on top of the world, making significant strides toward becoming your best self. Other days, you might feel utterly stuck, as if no matter what you do, you can't move forward. These shifts in momentum are natural, but they do not define you. It's how you respond to them that truly shapes your journey. One of the most powerful qualities you can cultivate when faced with challenges or moments of stagnation is mental agility. This attribute, more than any other, empowers you to handle life's inevitable curveballs, learn effectively from your mistakes, and stay steadfastly on course, even when circumstances turn tough. Mental agility is fundamentally about being flexible in your thinking, possessing the ability to swiftly adapt to changing circumstances, and maintaining a sharp, focused mind in the face of adversity. To truly grasp the importance of mental agility, consider how you typically handle setbacks. When something doesn't go as planned, it's easy to become frustrated, discouraged, or even angry. You might feel an urge to give up, or at the very least, wallow in self-pity. However, those who have cultivated mental agility understand that setbacks are not permanent roadblocks. They are merely temporary detours on the path to success. They approach challenges with genuine curiosity, asking themselves what valuable lessons can be gleaned from the experience. They quickly assess the situation, adjust their strategy, and move forward with renewed focus. This remarkable ability to bounce back after difficulties stems from a mindset deeply rooted in resilience and adaptability. Mental agility allows you to remain open to new possibilities, even when your original plans dissolve. The key is to stop viewing mistakes as failures and instead embrace them as invaluable learning opportunities. Every time something deviates from your plan, you're presented with a chance to refine your approach and discover a better way forward. This is precisely how genuine growth occurs, not by meticulously avoiding errors, but by embracing them as an integral part of the learning process. Flexibility in your thinking also means actively being open to new ideas. We often become comfortably set in our ways, forming beliefs, habits, and routines that become so ingrained they're barely conscious. But this rigidity can severely hold us back. The capacity to change your mind when presented with new information is a powerful skill. It enables you to grow, evolve, and remain relevant even as the world constantly shifts around you. Whether you're acquiring a new skill, facing a difficult decision, or navigating a challenging situation, mental agility helps you process information rapidly and make decisions that align with your long-term goals. The way we approach problems also profoundly impacts mental agility. When a problem arises, the initial instinct might be to panic or overanalyze the situation. Our minds can spiral, fixating on worst-case scenarios or stressing over every potential pitfall. This is when mental agility becomes paramount. Rather than becoming overwhelmed by a problem's enormity, a mentally agile person takes a deliberate step back and examines the situation from multiple angles. They break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces and thoughtfully consider different possible solutions. They understand that no problem is truly insurmountable if approached with a clear mind and an open perspective. A compelling example of mental agility in action is how some athletes perform under pressure during a high-stakes game. The stakes are immense, the crowd is watching, and so much is on the line. But what distinguishes successful athletes is their extraordinary ability to remain calm and focused under pressure. They don't panic when things go awry. Instead, they take a deep breath, adjust their strategy, and keep moving forward. This capacity to recalibrate under stress is the very essence of mental agility. This concept applies equally to personal and professional challenges. Life frequently throws unexpected curveballs, sudden changes at work, personal setbacks, or shifts in relationships. Instead of resisting the change or feeling overwhelmed, a person with mental agility will objectively see the situation for what it is, an opportunity to adapt and grow. They consistently ask themselves, what can I learn from this, and how can I move forward in a way that aligns with my goals? To cultivate mental agility, you need to practice a few key strategies. One of the most effective ways to build this skill is by intentionally stepping out of your comfort zone. When you challenge yourself to try new things, you're actively forcing your mind to adjust and adapt. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking on a new responsibility, or even engaging in a difficult conversation, the more you place yourself in situations that demand quick thinking, the more agile your mind becomes. Over time, your brain becomes more proficient at processing new information, evaluating situations, and making rapid decisions. This ability to adjust your mindset is an invaluable tool that can help you navigate not just the challenges you face today, but the inevitable ones that will arise tomorrow. Another crucial aspect of mental agility is self-reflection. Taking the dedicated time to reflect on your experiences, whether positive or negative, allows you to objectively evaluate what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve next time. This process of self-evaluation helps you identify patterns in your thinking, behavior, and decision-making that might be holding you back. By becoming more aware of these patterns, you can begin to break free from old habits and develop new ways of thinking that are more aligned with your goals. Self-reflection helps you stay open to change and provides invaluable insights that can powerfully fuel your growth. It's also important to recognize the profound role of emotional intelligence in mental agility. Emotions often drive our thoughts and actions, and if we're not careful, they can significantly cloud our judgment. However, when you develop emotional intelligence, you become more adept at managing your emotions in a way that actively supports your growth. You learn how to remain calm in stressful situations, regulate your responses, and make decisions that are based on reason rather than impulsive emotional reactions. This emotional control empowers you to think more clearly, process information more effectively, and make better decisions in times of uncertainty. Another powerful way to cultivate mental agility is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts and feelings without getting entangled in them. This practice helps you detach from your automatic reactions, providing the mental space to consciously choose how you want to respond. By practicing mindfulness, you become less reactive and more proactive. You're able to calmly assess situations with a focused mind and make decisions based on logic and long-term goals, rather than knee-jerk reactions. The more you practice mindfulness, the more agile your mind becomes, as you gain the ability to adjust your thinking and behavior in real time. At its core, mental agility is about courageously embracing uncertainty and maintaining flexibility in the face of constant change. The world is perpetually evolving, and our ability to adapt is precisely what will keep us moving forward. When you become mentally agile, you're not merely reacting to life's challenges. You're actively engaging with them, learning from them, and skillfully using them to your advantage. This mindset empowers you to remain grounded, focused, and resilient, no matter what life throws your way. By consistently strengthening your mental agility, you are building an unshakable foundation for long-term success and fulfillment. Every challenge transforms into an opportunity to learn and grow, and every setback becomes a chance to bounce back stronger than before. Crafting your persuasive persona. We often confine the concept of persuasion to the realms of business, sales, or politics, but the truth is, it's an essential skill for navigating every aspect of our lives. Whether it's convincing a friend to join you for a workout, negotiating with a colleague, or simply articulating your viewpoint in a discussion, persuasion plays a pivotal role in how we interact with others. The ability to persuade isn't about manipulation or force. It's about deeply understanding people, clearly communicating your message, and fostering genuine trust. It's about connecting with others in a way that inspires them to see your perspective or feel motivated to take action. When we consider persuasion, the first thought that often springs to mind is the use of clever arguments or eloquent rhetoric. While these can certainly be powerful, they aren't always the most effective tools for creating meaningful, lasting influence. The most truly persuasive individuals don't rely on flashy words or dramatic gestures. They don't resort to pressure tactics or guilt trips. Instead, they focus on building rapport, demonstrating authenticity, and showing genuine care for others. This kind of persuasive influence is deeply rooted in emotional intelligence and empathy. When you connect with someone on a deeper level, when you truly understand their needs, values, and desires, it becomes significantly easier to guide them toward your desired outcome. Being persuasive starts with knowing yourself. The more comfortable and confident you are in your own beliefs, the more compelling you will naturally be to others. If you don't genuinely believe in what you're saying, if you're uncertain or hesitant, that energy will be palpable to the person you're communicating with. Conversely, when you stand firm in your convictions, your confidence effortlessly radiates, and people are drawn to that certainty. But it's not just about understanding your own stance. It's equally about understanding where the other person is coming from. Persuasion isn't about overpowering someone with your ideas. It's about thoughtfully engaging with them, actively listening to their concerns, and finding a way to align your message with their existing values and desires. One of the most effective ways to persuade others is through storytelling. Humans are inherently wired for stories. We connect with them on a deep emotional level. A well-told story can help others relate to your message in ways that mere facts and figures never could. A story allows people to see the world from your perspective, feel the emotions you convey, and experience the journey alongside you. When you share a personal story, or a narrative that clearly aligns with the values of the person you're speaking to, it becomes far more persuasive than simply stating a fact or making a logical argument. People don't just remember the message. They remember how it made them feel, and emotions, not solely logic, often drive action. Another powerful tool in persuasion is the ability to listen deeply. We often conceive of persuasion as primarily speaking and presenting our ideas, but listening is just as important, if not more so. When you listen attentively to someone, you're not just hearing their words, you're actively understanding their needs, their unspoken desires, and their pain points. You're demonstrating that you care enough to truly grasp their perspective. This makes them significantly more likely to trust you and be receptive to your suggestions. When you show that you are truly listening, the other person feels valued, and this immediately builds rapport, which is absolutely essential for any persuasive interaction. It's also crucial to remember that persuasion is not about convincing someone to act against their will or values. True persuasion is about helping others genuinely see how your ideas align with their own existing goals. It's about demonstrating how what you're offering can benefit them in ways that deeply resonate with their own desires. This means that effective persuasion isn't about getting your way at all costs. It's about creating win-win situations where both parties feel they've gained something meaningful. Building trust is another cornerstone of effective persuasion. Trust doesn't materialize overnight, and it certainly can't be manipulated or forced. It's meticulously built through consistent actions, unwavering honesty, and impeccable integrity. People are far more likely to be persuaded by someone they trust because they believe that person genuinely has their best interests at heart. If you aspire to persuade others, you must first establish trust by being reliable, consistently keeping your word, and acting with integrity in every single interaction. Nonverbal communication also plays a huge role in persuasion. Our body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice often communicate far more than the words we utter. A warm smile, steady eye contact, or an open posture can immediately create an atmosphere of connection and trust. Conversely, closed-off body language, such as crossed arms or avoiding eye contact, can signal to others that you're not fully engaged or approachable. Being acutely aware of your nonverbal cues is crucial, as people pick up on these signals more than we realize. Your body language should seamlessly align with your spoken words, reinforcing your message and making you appear more authentic and trustworthy. There's also immense power in the way we ask questions. People are far more likely to be persuaded when they arrive at their own conclusions, rather than being explicitly told what to do. By asking the right questions, you skillfully guide them to recognize the logic in your argument or to fully understand the benefits of your proposal, without directly dictating to them. This method of persuasion empowers them to feel a sense of ownership over the decision, which, in turn, makes them more committed to the outcome. It's not about telling someone what's best for them. It's about asking the questions that lead them to recognize what's best for themselves. A key element of persuasion is also understanding the psychology behind human behavior. People are naturally drawn to things that align with their values, beliefs, and emotions. The more you understand what genuinely motivates people, what makes them feel safe, what excites them, what their core desires are, the better you can tailor your message to profoundly resonate with them. The more you can speak to their underlying needs and aspirations, the more likely they are to be persuaded to take action. Whether it's appealing to their sense of security, excitement, or personal values, understanding human behavior allows you to craft a message that speaks directly to their heart. The most persuasive individuals don't need to resort to force or manipulation to achieve their objectives. They leverage empathy, deep understanding, and clear communication to forge genuine connections with others. They meticulously build trust over time and approach each situation with a mindset of collaboration and shared goals. Instead of solely focusing on persuading others to see your perspective, you shift your focus to genuinely seeing things from their perspective and aligning your ideas with their existing values. This creates an environment where both parties feel heard, understood, and valued, transforming persuasion from merely a skill into a means of creating meaningful, lasting relationships. By mastering this skill, you not only become more influential but also evolve into a more thoughtful, compassionate communicator, someone who can inspire others to take action while consistently respecting their needs and desires. Understanding and leveraging human behavior. Understanding human behavior is undeniably one of the most powerful tools we can wield to build connections, influence decisions, and navigate our complex world. The way people think, feel, and react is influenced by an intricate web of experiences, emotions, and primal instincts. By grasping the fundamental driving forces behind human behavior, you gain invaluable insight into how to communicate more effectively, manage relationships more skillfully, and align your actions with the natural tendencies of those around you. At the core of human behavior lies the fundamental need for connection. From the moment we're born, we are biologically wired to seek relationships and form bonds. This innate desire for connection profoundly shapes our choices, our reactions, and the way we engage with others. Whether it's the urge to fit in with a group, cultivate deep friendships, or simply feel heard and understood, the human experience is profoundly social. Every action we take, from a simple smile to a significant life decision, is often guided by our deep-seated desire to be connected and validated by others. However, Connection doesn't happen by chance. It's something we must actively cultivate. Individuals who possess a keen understanding of human behavior are often the ones who navigate relationships with remarkable ease. They know how to discern unspoken cues, subtle body language, nuanced tones of voice, and the fleeting hints in a person's eyes. These cues reveal far more than words alone ever could. A slight shift in posture, a momentary pause before responding, or a subtle change in someone's vocal tone can tell you if they're comfortable, anxious, or genuinely open to your ideas. Being able to pick up on these cues grants you an incredible advantage in how you communicate and connect with people. It allows you to approach conversations with greater sensitivity and empathy, making others feel genuinely heard and deeply valued. But true connection doesn't just spring from understanding others. It also arises from understanding ourselves. The more we comprehend our own behaviors, motivations, and triggers, the more effectively we can interact with others. It's easy to assume that our actions are always driven by pure logic, but the truth is that emotions play a significant, often dominant, role in shaping what we do. People frequently make decisions based on how they feel in the moment, even if they aren't fully aware of it. That's why it's essential to grasp the emotional undercurrent of any interaction. If you can recognize when emotions are running high or when someone is feeling vulnerable, you can approach the situation with greater care and consideration, which, in turn, helps foster a stronger connection. One of the most profound aspects of human behavior is the inherent desire for autonomy. Everyone craves the feeling of being in control of their own decisions and actions. This is precisely why people often resist being explicitly told what to do. The moment someone feels coerced or pushed into a corner, their natural instinct is to resist. This doesn't mean people don't appreciate guidance or help, but it does mean that when we offer advice, we must do so in a way that allows the other person to feel a sense of ownership over their choice. This is where skillful persuasive communication becomes vital. Instead of simply telling someone what to do, you can gently guide them to their own conclusions by asking insightful questions, framing ideas in a way that aligns with their values, and helping them authentically see how your suggestions can personally benefit them. The fear of rejection is another powerful driver of human behavior. Deep down, most people harbor an underlying fear of not being accepted, of being judged, or of being ignored. This fear can subtly influence how we present ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we make decisions. Understanding this pervasive fear empowers you to approach situations with heightened sensitivity. It helps you become acutely aware of how your words and actions might inadvertently affect others. When we are conscious of this fear in ourselves and in others, we can intentionally create environments where people feel safe, valued, and genuinely included. It's about making others comfortable enough to express themselves, knowing that their ideas and feelings will be respected. Another intrinsic aspect of human behavior is the pervasive need for consistency. People inherently prefer to feel consistent in their actions and beliefs. Once we commit to something, whether it's a belief, a habit, or a decision, we are significantly more likely to stick with it. This is why, once someone has agreed to a small request or action, they are often more inclined to agree to larger requests in the future. It's the powerful principle of consistency at play. When you understand this, you can subtly leverage it to influence decisions. For example, if you can secure someone's agreement to a small commitment, such as endorsing a basic idea or signing up for a free trial, they are more likely to follow through with bigger commitments down the line. This principle is widely utilized by marketers, negotiators, and leaders to gently guide individuals toward larger decisions. Understanding human behavior also entails recognizing the profound power of emotional triggers. We all possess specific emotions that drive our actions: fear, love, excitement, guilt, and pride, to name just a few. Certain situations can activate these emotions, and comprehending what triggers these feelings in people can help you communicate far more effectively. For instance, if someone is visibly proud of their accomplishments, they are likely to respond positively to genuine praise. Similarly, if someone is feeling insecure or anxious, they may be more receptive to reassurance or support. Recognizing these emotional triggers allows you to approach each situation with greater finesse and care, knowing the kind of emotional response you are likely to elicit. One of the most significant insights you can gain from understanding human behavior is the paramount importance of trust. People are naturally inclined to trust those who are consistent, honest, and reliably accountable. Trust isn't something that can be demanded. It must be diligently earned over time through actions that consistently align with words. When people trust you, they are exponentially more likely to listen to your suggestions, follow your lead, and engage in meaningful collaboration. Trust is meticulously built through small, everyday actions. Showing up when you say you will, being transparent and honest, and consistently following through on your commitments. These actions forge a bedrock of trust that can have a profound impact on all your relationships, both personal and professional. Human behavior is also frequently influenced by social norms and the actions of others. People are inherently social creatures, and we tend to look to our peers to guide our decisions. This is precisely why social proof, observing others engage in a particular behavior, can be such a powerful influence. When people see others adopting a certain behavior or embracing a particular belief, they are more inclined to follow suit. Understanding the power of social norms can help you subtly shape behavior in a way that aligns with your goals, whether it's fostering a culture of collaboration in a workplace or encouraging healthier habits within a community. Ethical social influence can be a remarkably potent tool. Ultimately, by understanding human behavior, you also gain the ability to navigate the intricate complexities of human relationships with greater empathy, patience, and care. You begin to truly see the world through others' eyes, grasping their underlying motivations, fears, and desires. This profound understanding allows you to communicate more effectively, connect more deeply, and influence decisions in a way that is genuinely meaningful and positive. When you master the art of understanding human behavior, you unlock the immense potential to create relationships that are built on unshakable trust, mutual respect, and reciprocal benefit. By cultivating this understanding in every interaction, you create a powerful ripple effect that can positively impact every aspect of your life.